Hello, I'm Cody, and welcome to Session 1 of my Pillars of Eternity 2 turn-based Triple Crown attempt. Unlike in Pillars of Eternity 1, this won't be my first attempt at doing, well, I guess my first attempt at doing Triple Crown. I've never futzed with Expert Mode, but I've definitely done Trial of Iron and Path of the Damned. I have not completed them, but I've started them and died at various points in the game. As such, I have a fair amount of Barath's Blessing points in my various deaths. In fact, I've never beat this game at all, I should say. I've only ever played it on Path of the Damned. Turn-based. Oh, that was awkward. Turn-based. Continue. I've only ever played it on Path of the Damned Trial of Iron, and I've never completed it. I don't really remember how far I've gone. It's been 5 years since I've played, and I think I've only had 3 or 4, maybe as many as 5 attempts that got off of Newbie Island area. I will be using the Barath's Blessings. I know this game is a lot harder than PoE1, so I feel like I probably need the benefit, especially in Expert Mode. I want those. I love having my player character be a bit more special than everybody else, and those really achieve that. I don't know if this is only pickpocket, or if this includes drops. Whether or not I want it is heavily dependent upon that. I do kind of enjoy pickpocketing, but I don't know how much of it I'm going to do, because it's kind of finicky. Definitely not going to start at level 4, that just trivializes the early game and will make me hit the level cap earlier, which is not what I want. I will start with Infamous Captain. That sounds interesting. I remember once, years ago, deciding to try this whole mutiny and survive thing, and I just honestly felt bad putting my crew into a position to mutiny and then murdering them all. So I'm never going to do that again. But I might as well start with the passive. I don't remember how potent it is. Maybe it's really good. I don't know. But I'm going to do that. A unique item venter in Port Mahe, something like that? Sure. And after that, it's hard to decide. Could do the pockets are filled. Legendary crew. 3 unique. I don't really care for that. Kind of nice, but not important. Definitely don't want the world map explored. That would just make it harder to remember where I've been and where I haven't been. And I like the sense of exploration, and I don't know this game well enough to lose the sense. What am I trying to say? While I have played the game before, it will still feel like I'm exploring to me. I don't know it so well that I'm just know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit on the starter island. Can I pet him anyway? Edar unlocks the pet slot. I love it, thematically. I like Edar's relationship with the animals. I like how happy he is to talk about them. I love that exchange between him and Sagani in the first game, where he asks Sagani if her fox Itumak bites, and she says that he does. And Edar replies, can I pet him anyway? And she's like, your hand. And then some load times later, you'll hear them have a conversation where Sagani's like, how's the hand? And he's like, I think it's infected, I might lose it. She's like, warned you not to pet him. And he's like, well, if I'm not supposed to pet him, why is he so soft? It reminds me of my best friend who just always wants to pet every animal on the planet. And that kind of makes me want to take this, even though it has the downside where if I take this, I am always going to want Edar in my team. That feels like it's such a limitation. But it also feels like it's one of the most unique bonuses of all of these. It's interesting to just get that. So that makes me want it. I don't know that I'll care about crafting and enchanting costs. just don't know what loaded pockets really does. Like, does that... is it only for pickpocketing, or will they also have better drops? Because if it's the latter, then I'd definitely take it. But if it's just pickpocketing, it's not as fantastic. I might do some pickpocketing, but probably not a lot. And I'm sure when it says more and rarer, it won't include, like, cool magic items, which is what I would really want. It'd probably just slightly better vendor trash. No, part of me wants to just drop that and say, oh, just take this. Mythical Adrestone appears in the Prologue Armor. I honestly do not remember what that does, but I'm guessing it's the crafting component for, like, whatever the top tier, superior, legendary weapons or armors is. That's my guess. It would be nice to just have that. But, can I pet him anyway? It's just such a cute thing. I can't not take it. It's too cute. Really don't know what having a legendary crew even does. I barely remember any of it. Like I said, I remember specifically coaxing out a mutiny. I remember it being harder than I anticipated to coax a mutiny in the first place. And when I did, having to kill all my crew made me feel so bad. But I did it because I think there was an achievement and I wanted to get it so that the next time I played, I'd have more Barath's points. Could just start with a boatload of money. It's hard to go wrong with money. And, like, if it's anything like the last game, the early game is the only part where you're bleeding or you're hurting for money. After you get past once you get to the point where enemies start dropping fine gear, you're swimming with cash. And prior to that, you're absolutely hurting for it. So just not hurting for money in the early game would be kind of nice. On the other hand, I could start with the Stormwind Sails upgrade. I have no earthly idea what that does, but it just makes me think of Wind Waker and playing. I only ever played the Wii U version, which had the upgraded sails, and even with that, I found the boating kind of tedious, and the person who was my best friend, who was also mentioned about this achievement, was wanting to watch me play the game, and she said that, like, the original version is way worse as far as the ship sailing. Makes me kind of want to take this just on being sure we don't have an issue where the boat's too slow. But I don't really remember. I don't think it's as bad in this game, obviously. I don't really remember what the sails does. Could do that. I don't hate that. Give a little bit of starting money, but not the ridiculous amount there. Start with a fine weapon and armor. And whatever this sails upgrade does, leaves me with 2 points remaining. Sure. Alright. Path of the Damned, Trial of Iron, Expert Mode, that's the Triple Crown. I've had some technical difficulties recording this episode, so this is actually my third attempt. None of them have got far. They've all got basically past the character creation and into, like, 1 or 2 combats in the tutorial island before I noticed problems were happening. None of those problems appear to be happening this time. I'm looking at it. It's actually recording, which is good. Wasn't last time. That was dumb of me. So I don't remember already, 8 minutes into the recording, whether I explained what the Triple Crown is in this recording, or whether it was the one I did 2 hours ago that didn't work. But in case I haven't, the Triple Crown is when you have the Path of the Damned, which throws the largest number of enemies against the player and makes enemies more powerful and utilizes the most devious AI tactics. Trial of Iron, which is only one save file is kept for the entire playthrough. If the party is killed, the file is deleted and you must start again. This option can't be changed in-game. And Expert Mode disables a number of helper features in-game. Players who want to rely on their own faculties and intuition while playing the game should play Expert Mode. I hate Expert Mode, but it's an achievement, and I'd like to try the Triple Crown, which I completed in PoE1 just a few days ago, so let's go with that.
Aora, a world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel. The cycle of reincarnation watched over by the gods, and made possible through pillars of a mystical substance known as Audra. 5 years ago, you traveled from your home to the Deerwood, a nation that had waged war against the incarnated god of light, Aethys, resulting in his destruction. The country suffered from a plague of Hollowborn, infants born without souls, that many believed was punishment for killing a god. In an ancient, secluded ruin, you witnessed a secret ritual that inadvertently transformed you into a Watcher. One who can see and speak with souls. The ritual also gave you horrible visions, waking nightmares of a past life that threatened your sanity. To put them to rest, you pursued the man who had led the ritual, a seemingly immortal agent of the gods, known as Theos Ix Arcanon. With divine assistance, you confronted and defeated Theos, ending your visions and resolving the Hollowborn crisis. In so doing, you also learned the great secret that Theos had protected. That the ancient empire of Anguith had transformed themselves into gods. Your visions finally put to rest, you retired to the castle of Cadnua, built atop a massive statue of pure Audra, where you ruled in relative peace and prosperity.
Made a nice story. You fixing up that old keep? Lifting the curse? Must have told it 100 times. But something got to gnawing at me. Thinking the spirits there weren't really at rest. But maybe the gods weren't finished with us. My God came back. He would forgive us. Last the trouble with dreams. Sooner or later, we all have to wake up.
And so you wake to a sleepless world, the in-between of life and death. Follow your memories. You have been here before.
You have seen past the shroud. You are a Watcher now, and a Watcher you will stay.
A Watcher sees souls, knows their pasts, and the souls see them back.
A dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken and cursed.
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked?
The gods aren't real, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
Let the world see. Let them decide what to do.
The wheel has turned again, Watcher. Come.
An aged dwarf shares this strange floating platform with you. His face is creased by so many wrinkles that his features lie buried amid shadowy pockets of skin. Still, the dwarf's well-practiced habits have left telltale tracks of a welcoming rictus across his visage. You can see his smile coming before it blooms, reshaping the dwarf's face from a hanging sack of flesh into something resembling an oddly carved, merry gourd, replete with unhealthy bumps and discolored splotches.
That's good. I like that there's a narrator now, and I think pretty much everything is voice acted, so it should save my voice a lot. And of course, it's just much better voice acted than I could do.
Please. Thank you for joining us, Watcher of Cadnua.
The gaunt woman seated at the table is clad in time-worn black armor that seems too massive for her to move in. A pale, slender neck rises from the gorget, topped by a hollow face. The milky skin stretched across it is delicate and translucent, like parchment that has been scraped clean too many times. She is preoccupied with the arrangement of cards on the table between you. With each movement, her armor squeaks and groans as though bearing an incredible weight. She places a final card, gives a nod of satisfaction, and raises her eyes to meet yours.
Your brush with the divine has drained you of your powers, fractured your memories. Look upon these cards. They represent the courses of your life. You alone know best how they flowed. Arrange them to fit what you remember.
Alright, we'll be importing the PoE1 save that we completed a couple days ago.
Does everything appear to be in order?
Yes, I believe so.
Good. Welcome to the Beyond. I am Berath. One half, anyway.
She points a finger in the direction of the dwarf who led you here. Though the movement is slight, her gauntlet squeaks like a rusty hinge. The dwarf's rictus returns as he nods in the woman's direction. The gods offered you boons in exchange for resolving the Hollowborn crisis. What did you do with the souls?
I think we did as Hylia asked of us. We restored the souls to the Hollowborn.
Tell me, do you remember when we last met?
I don't actually remember if I talked to her in the Hall of Stars and Twin Elms. I know I talked with Hylia. I don't think I talked to everybody there, though. I think I just talked to Hylia, thought, yeah, this sounds good, and went with that. So, if I talked to her, it was brief. I'll just say I spoke with the other gods in the Hall of the Stars and pledged myself to them.
You did.
She places a card on the table, showing a tall tower with the gods' constellations arrayed around it in the sky. She places a card in the middle of the arrangement, a bell tower with no bell. Her fingertips slowly drag away from the card, faintly creaking as they retreat across the table.
You had need of the gods once before. Now it seems we have need of you. The being that occupied Odnua's statue beneath your castle was the dead god, Aothus. Of this we are certain. What we do not know is what his intentions are. Though Aothus stole a large fragment of your soul, you were strong enough to survive the onslaught and enter the in-between. You and he are still connected. He has chosen a body made of living Audra, perfused with the power of thousands of souls, including yours. It should be little difficulty for an experienced watcher to find him.
then why can't you just do it yourself?
Taking a physical form in Aora is fraught with peril. Most mortal minds and bodies are incapable of containing divine power. It can lead to problems, as Aethys learned not long ago.
Her armored hand gingerly places a card sideways on the table. It features a man with a burst of light instead of a head.
Well, I'd like to find him as much as you would. He destroyed my castle and killed who knows how many people around it.
I know. It is my business to know. 322 in Cadnua and your surrounding lands. Their souls remain in Aethys still. You have the power to save them. Serve me and I will return you to your body. Or don't, and return to the wheel.
I do wonder if clicking this would just deposit me back into the main menu, but I'm not going to actually try it, so let's get on with it.
Good. Before you return to Aora as my herald, you must remember who you were, the last whisper of life in death.
For a moment, the sockets of her eyes darken, leaving the pits of a death's head gazing out at you.
When you can picture your own face, the Beyond will lead you back to your own kind, to the world of mortals.
Alright. It's interesting that even though I loaded my old save, it doesn't, like, make a character that resembles my own character. Obviously, it couldn't be identical, because it's a different game, but you'd think it would at least have the starting point of her. However, I am not going to play my old character anyway, so it doesn't really matter, I suppose. When I say that, I have no idea what I'm going to play. I always get paralyzed with indecision once I see this. I had several thoughts of possibilities, but now here I am, finding myself thinking, but what if I do something else? Yeah, so I'm not played an enormous amount of this, of course. I have played a bit. I've pretty much always gravitated towards using multi-class characters. But I think I'm going to go a single class this time. I'd had a few thoughts for builds for characters I wanted. Part of me wants to make a tactician and trickster dual class. That would be really interesting, I think. The tactician gets the special ability where they gain the brilliant buff whenever all enemies are flanked and no allies are, which would be fantastic because the brilliant buff makes them just regenerate their class resources, which, unlike in the first game where most abilities are per day, here in PoE2, most abilities are per combat and they're funneled through class resources, so having that combo allow you to easily flank all enemies, and once all enemies are flanked, you just regenerate your class abilities and can use all your abilities every single round. It would be phenomenal. The other build I was thinking is something to do with Barbarian, probably a multi-class, because I really, really enjoyed Maneha near the end of the last game. It seemed really potent and fun. But, like, feels a bit less so here. This Brute Force ability, for example, was one of my favorite abilities in the Barbarian, and it feels like it's moved to a much higher level requirement. And while they have a few cool passives, they seem to be a lot thinner on the cool passives than they were in PoE1. Some of their active abilities might be good. I haven't really read through all of them. I do not have the energy to bother going through all of them. I really enjoyed the leap attack in the last game, so it'll probably be decent here, but don't think I'm going to bother with Barbarian. The other option I was thinking would be like a Chanter-Monk combo. I really like the idea of comboing these two with this Hellwalker, which gains bonus might for each wound they have. And then they can also eventually get this Duality of Mortal Presence, which would get them bonus con or int per wound they have. I would choose int. I don't really know what the max wounds are. I don't know if it tells you. Wounds, monk typical guns with no wounds. Yeah, they get them over time throughout combat. I suspect the max wounds is something like 10. So, if that's suspicious, it might be 5. It's probably either 5 or 10. Either way, they would have either a bonus to int and might in combat based on the amount of wounds. If I did that, that would be really neat, and it would duo well with Chanter having the might and the int increase the radius of their chance, and I would focus, of course, entirely on the chance that just do damage, because I really enjoy that. But after playing around in my head for a while, I think I'm going to try just doing pure chant. I mean, the other thought is a dual fighter chanter, pretty much solely for the fighter stances, giving me a big bonus to accuracy. But I think I'm going to go with just a pure chanter. The thing I don't like about getting a pure chanter... Oops, that was Cypher. I don't like Cyphers at all. The thing I don't like about being a pure chanter is the game really wants you to use multiple different phrases, and I really don't. I just want to have come soft winds of death until I unlock the Dragon Thrash, the Dragon Wailed, at which point it would more or less be a slot-in replacement. Maybe occasionally using Ancient Memory, which in the first game, like, passively applied to all chants, but in this one it appears to be its own phrase, which is a bit worse. No, it's not a bit worse, it's substantially worse. I don't want my chanter, wasting time giving resistance to resolve afflictions when she could be just doing damage every single round. I like that more. But the problem then comes with I'll be gaining more passive and active ability points, whatever those are called in this game, than I have things I want to spend it on, like especially in the early game. Like, am I going to really waste a point on Arms Bear? Like, I might end up doing so simply because there's so few things to choose. Hard to say. Either way, I'm going to go Chanter. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to pick the Troubadour, which significantly increases the Linger for phrases. I don't know if this interacts with turn-based very well. Like, it might be that it has an aliasing issue where the Linger never quite hits the point where it lasts long enough in turn-based to slot over into being an extra turn, but I'm hoping it does. We'll try that. Of course, it's Come Swift Winds of Death. I just really enjoy having passive damage auras. Those are like my favorite thing in games, and too few games let you do them. And Rainy Dart's Ghost was phenomenal in the early game of PoE1, and I'm assuming it will continue to be here as well. But I don't really remember. Dexterity we're going to ditch, as we're playing turn-based. In PoE1, you can get multiple turns per round, making Dexterity extremely valuable, but in PoE2 you cannot. So the action speed does nothing except for make me go earlier in the round. Which is nice, but it's not important at the end of the day. I think it's more important to have basically any other stat. You're going to want max dex, which is hilarious because it's like the exact opposite of what she was in the previous game where she had max dex and no int because she was a ranger then. She's changed a lot. And we're going to want good perception, both because we need it to hit targets and to reduce the problem of having a minus 12 reflex save. Now we have plus reflex save as well. And then we will do something like that, so you have some con and might. Maybe that. And we picked the Barath Blessing that will give us +2 to all. So effectively we're at 15, 15, 6, 21, 20, and 12. Not bad. We get +1 more stat here. That's all this selection really does. Could just get my perception even higher. That's probably what I should do. Or int. I could go with int, Vilia. Go with more int as well. Increase the radius and duration even further. It's not a terrible idea. Yeah, I like the white that wins. I think that's what she was last game as well, and it does feel right to not change her background of where she comes from. On the other hand, she was a laborer last time, and I don't want to just grab that. Just +2 athletics is quite boring. Well, all the options kind of suck. I know somebody needs to be a mechanic to disable traps, but it might end up being Edar. He'll always be with me because of the, maybe I just take it with her just so that I know for sure. I kind of like the idea of going more sleight of handy with her. Problem is, sleight of hand feels like it's of minimal to no use unless you also have stealth, and none of these give stealth as well. Or even at all. Streetwise is kind of fun to have. Yeah, I'll go with Drifter. Weapon type. You don't want these larger shields. They give minus accuracy. Which I think even affects her chance. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I think it does. But I don't mind getting a smaller shield. Reduce your initiative. When missed by a melee weapon, you gain increased accuracy on your next weapon attack. That's not bad. Cool. I like shield, like small shield and a rapier. That feels really fun to me. Needle strike. Carefully with your strike with your rapier, aiming for vital points to ensure success. Fighting this way increases accuracy at the cost of initiative. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Make her look more or less exactly like she did in PoE1. This first, I think phase 2 is closer to what it was before. Much like in PoE1, I find myself annoyed that none of these hairstyles match this portrait. But I think this is the closest one. A lot messier. I like the clean lines here. I like the messy look as well a bit, but I wish it matched. A bit more like kind of like that, but not quite as bright. Because the redness, this has the right redness, but is too bright. This has the right brightness, but is not enough red. I'm going to go with the bit redder one, I guess. Not entirely sure what color her eyes are in that picture. It's so, small. What was that? Colors aren't going to match the picture, but I want something that just pops a little bit, and I like the kind of yellow highlights on a plum background.
Finish them!
Sharp eyes and keen ears. Oh. I shall lead us.
Not a sound.
What can I do? I'm flattered.
Stand together! Quietly now.
I won't let you down!
There's always a way. I'm with you.
For the Everlight!
Wait here. Yes?
Go for the eyes, Trinket! I'll be right back. My turn.
Ah!
Yeah, it was kind. And here I like the roguish one. Sassy is basically the same thing, except on the other hip, which is weird. Hands at a slightly different angle, but very similar. Yeah, roguish is definitely the best. So, Jay is back with a new job. Shame that Nanook won't be joining us. Guess got lost along the way. Yeah, so doesn't seem to be any way to get some decent stealth going, unfortunately. But we're diplomatic, bluffy, good with sleight of hand, and a little bit of arcana.
Go forth now, Watcher, as my herald. Know that I do not give you this title lightly. When the time comes, you will have the power to reveal the souls that cling to you, to open the gateway from the in-between to the waking world. Find Aethys. Learn his plans. When I have cause to talk to you, I will summon you.
With a quick gesture of her hand, you feel a sharp pain in what would be your chest. The pain continues, intruding deeper into your soul. Looking down, you see a small lump of darkness roiling within you. The darkness lingers there, but the pain abates and fades entirely within the span of a few seconds.
A chime. Do not fear, Herald. It will not harm you unless you choose to cross me. I trust it will not come to that.
Her gauntleted hand gestures to the dwarf, hovering nearby. The dwarf nods, contorts his face with his odd smile, and gestures to a new door.
Sadly, you can't turn up the speed here or make your character run. I'm not a huge fan of the inciting incident of the second game, being that Aethys is back. I find the idea that humanity killed a god to be very evocative. And I kind of wish they'd kept that detail.
The return to your body feels like waking after a fitful drunken sleep. The rocking of the ship sends pain jolting through your limbs. Crashing waves hammer inside your skull. Adair watches over your body with a glazed look, taking long, even tokes from his pipe. At the first movement of your chest, he starts. His gasp, mid-puff, sends him coughing and straining for breath.
No, there's no way. You're awake. What are you doing awake? How are you feeling?
Alive.
Alive's a big improvement.
I hate to cast a pall over your recovery, but I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
The voice echoes from inside the bust. The remains of the steward of Cad Nua.
Cad Nua has been destroyed. Aethys possessed the statue of Maros Nua and rose from the ground, consuming the souls of all nearby. It is only by the exceptional strength of your soul that you survived. And even then, just barely. The further Aethys withdrew, the weaker you became. We chartered this ship and followed him to the Deadfire archipelago. I know not how, but it seems he has retained a piece of your soul, and proximity to it has brought you back.
Yes, I know.
How could you know all that? You've been faking on us.
He pokes at your shoulder with one finger.
Misfortunes brewing topside, Migrants fires the captain stirs.
An older man with ale-sour breath rubs his bloodshot eyes and stares at you.
Engrim, the smell of drink on your breath could wake the very dead. Now what's this about?
Pirates. They're demanding parley with you, Captain.
I know this is asking a lot, but you better arm yourself and get on deck. Should be some gear in there.
He indicates a nearby wardrobe.
Alrighty. Good time to just take a quick overview of the character. It's the UI is disappointing. I'd hoped, didn't remember that it was exactly, well, not exactly, but it was so similar to the first game. I had thought they'd made this
You hearing all right?
better.
Gear's in the wardrobe.
Oh my god,
No time to
Edgar, I'm
dally.
looking at the UI. Give it a rest.
All right, now make some use of it.
Not bad at all. Nice style.
The pirates of Deadfire are notorious. I suggest you deal with them quickly.
Alright, both those modals just cost initiative, which, with my dexterity, I'm already going to go last, so no reason not to just go even laster.
Well, what have we here? A little sloop? Lost and alone in the storm?
I guess our narrator is not going to read everything for me. A surly, brutish-looking captain stands stiff-backed before his crew. He scowls as he assesses you, his hair whipping about his ears in the wind.
I'll be taking your ship now, if you don't mind. And especially if you do.
Well, at least he asked.
I am a gentleman of fortune.
The captain shrugs in the sheeting rain before pinning you with a slow, murderous grin.
Give her up easy, and I'll see you get a swift death. It'll be bloody and agonizing, sure. But at least it'll be quick.
The storm's pretty loud. Did you say you're surrendering? How strange.
And then he's going to wear his breeches on his head and dance for us? Did I hear that right?
Aye, but the breeches are gonna be stitched from your skin. You got a smart mouth on ya. Careful. That'll get you killed faster than any blade.
He grins to show crooked teeth.
Listen up, mates.
He cracks his neck as he addresses his crew.
I'm off to spear me a bigger fish. One with sharper teeth like. I'm trusting you lot not to cock this up. Don't damage the sloop when you take it. Play with the crew if you'd like, but don't bring me any prisoners. None that are alive.
You heard, Benwith! After...
Nice. Just unlike the first game, I don't have health that is constantly depleting. Looks like the Come Soft Winds of Death is lasting 2 rounds. It's pretty decent. Don't know how that affects it as a damage dealing. Will it stack? Will it do extra damage? It'll be hard to tell. My hope is that if it's lasting 2 rounds, and when the next one goes to tick on it, it'll like apply the damage of those 2 rounds worth of the debuff instantly. But I doubt it. That would be too good, I think. Hard to say though. Could be.
Defend the ship!
There seemed to be some aspect of like leftover damage over time debuff timers being applied all at once in the first game with it. The camera was too far away when it got there for me to tell. Oh, that doesn't happen instantly. This is a cast now. There, I guess. Okay, so he took the 5 damage plus a little bit extra on his turn. I think that extra 1 was from, like, the next turn's worth. That's not where I cast that. Oh, lost one. Oh, it doesn't seem to stun like it used to. That's a shame. Water looks really good. Nice.
Storm's picking up! Take cover!
You've defeated the pirates, but you're not out of trouble yet. The storm picks up, lashing your ship and driving you dangerously close to a rocky shore. The Defiant's crew hurries to reduce sail and batten down the hatches. They work quickly, but the ship is still listing heavily. Just then, a loose crate tumbles towards you, gathering speed on the rain-slicked deck. It misses you, but knocks Chitupak, one of your deckhands, off his feet. Defiant heaves. Chitupak pitches over the side. He grabs onto the rail, but his fingers are slipping. He cries out for help. Meanwhile, the runaway crate totters on the edge of the deck, ready to plunge overboard. You recognize the symbol on the front and realize it likely contains the salvage from Caed Nua, your keep. Obviously, you will rescue Chitupak over saving a crate of whatever is in it. You grab Chitupak's arm, and just as his grip fails, for a tense moment he hangs suspended over the roiling sea. Then, with a mighty tug, you pull him back onto the deck. You hear a heavy splash. The crate from Caed Nua is gone. Chitupak, meanwhile, nods in gratitude and hurries to his station. Meanwhile, the storm has nearly driven you ashore. A flash of lightning reveals a treacherous coastline and Aethys standing in the distance. Striding into the distance. The lookout barely has time to shout a warning before the Defiant runs aground. The impact hurls you from the deck and into the froth of waves, bodies and splintering debris. You struggle towards the beach just ahead, even as the surf tugs you out towards open sea. You kick and paddle with all your might until at last you feel sand between your fingers. Pulling yourself ashore, you collapse.
You've been getting a lot of sleep so far on this trip. I'd have woke you, but you look so peaceful with your face in the sand.
Eder runs his fingers through his hair and removes a strand of seaweed he finds lodged there. He examines it closely, then tosses it into the sand.
If you're worried about the ship, you can stop worrying. It's wrecked right over there.
He points out the Defiant, despite it being difficult to miss from your vantage point.
So far, it's just you and me and the chair lady over there.
Eder nods towards something further up the beach.
It's a relief to see you awake, my lady. I worried you were in for another long sleep.
Your steward appears to be lodged between some rocks. Despite this, her tone is warmly cheerful. I hate boats.
Shh. It's right behind you.
Unfortunately, I believe we'll be needing the Defiant yet. Unless you mean to settle down on the island for good.
Well, there's a thought.
Alright, what do we do now?
It is your decision, but Aethys still holds a piece of your soul. He was moving inland last I saw of him. I rather think he will have been hard to miss.
Let's see about the other survivors. And somehow we gotta get the ship repaired. I don't want to be paddling out of here on a salvage raft.
For now, I'd say your best bet is to find some sign of civilization. If nothing else, we may be able to hire on a shipwright. My lady, if it is not too taxing, could you explain how it came to pass that you were returned to us?
Well, it turns out that the gods are too dumb to figure out what Aethys is doing, so they sent me back to figure it out.
Could be they're just not dumb enough to get in Aethys' way up here.
A perilous endeavor indeed. Castle or no castle, you are still my lady, and I will aid you to the best of my ability.
Well, I suppose we better get a move on.
I'm gonna go with the multi-class for him, mostly because the really high power level abilities in both Fighter and Rogue feel kind of meh to me. I've looked through them a bit before. As I said earlier, I had some technical difficulties. This is not the first time I've tried to record this beginning chunk. I looked through these all before, and they were just... yeah, they just didn't seem great in these high... There's a few of them that are fine, but I like the versatility of the lower level abilities a bit better, even if I think, yeah, he starts with both Crippling Strike and Knockdown, which feels a bit wasteful to me. I would rather have him start with maybe Crippling Strike and Discipline Barrage, but I don't get to make that choice. Nevertheless, go with the versatility of it.
What do you need?
While Cosmo is following you around, you gain a bonus to Constitution, and your party is more effective with healing spells and potions. Defiant Apparel grants Captain's Eye. While not flanked, the wearer has resistance to perception afflictions. Sure. Dawn's Pledge, and we had this in the first game. Just grants a weak healing ability a few times per rest. Alright. Interesting that I seem to be able to just pull stuff out of the stash. I couldn't do that in the first game, except for while resting or at Caed Nua or the like. I can turn off my hat, my pet, or my cloak visually if I want.
Isn't that lovely?
Sure. Hope the rest of those sodden bastards made it.
Help! Somebody! They're from Blanca!
The Defiant is looking far worse for wear after its unexpected landfall. The hull has splintered in several places along the keel, while the tattered sails stand as evidence of your battle with the pirates. The deck of the Defiant is well out of reach from here. The ship groans like a beached whale each time the waves roll in, but it doesn't seem to be listing further. You may be able to climb up. Alright, use your grappling hook. One good throw, and the hook sails up and over the rail, catching firmly. A few tugs suggest that the grappling hook should hold fast. Alright, then climb up it. The rope makes the ascent considerably easier, and you soon find yourself climbing up over the rail.
You're looking better, Casita. That, or I'm worse off than I thought.
The sheen of sweat on her brow and the wan cast to her features bellies Irina's casual greeting.
It's my leg, Matiko. It hurts even worse than it looks.
Hang on, I'll carry you back down.
Quite romantic, Casita. I'll try not to hold it against you if you drop me.
Spark crackers. They are bombs that distract the enemies for 2 rounds. Can't imagine that being worth ever using, but sure, let's put them on the bar just in case.
There must be other survivors out there.
Spy! Margaret, here! My flame burns yet!
Someone's
Is that
up
ye?
Eldengram appears to be in sound condition, though his wax jacket is soaked through. He appraises you with blurry-eyed amusement.
You woke just in time for the fun. Fighting off motherless raiders one moment, flung into the freezing depths of Ondra's bosom the next.
Ingram's eye twitches as he flashes a smile, notable for its extraordinary absence of teeth.
Aye. Magran learns us poor bastards that a little excitement's good for the heart.
Even the gods can't break me, Ingram.
Some others might think that blasphemy. But when Magran hears it, Captain, oh, she knows you're filled with a fire.
His eyes grow wide in excitement.
There's nae getting the ship back underway without repairs. Yonder road inland seems the best chance of that. You want to be kicking some of the corpses before you go, see if some cry out. We need a crew if we're to set sail. I'll see you at the campfire, Captain. Magarin's flame warms my soul, but these ailed bones need a touch of the real thing.
Oh, you'll find Irina there.
Good, good. I'll keep an eye out for others, Watcher, if you'll do the same.
Keeping an eye out. Sui! Sui!
Very well.
What do you need?
Of course.
Hey.
It's really nice now where damage from that sort of thing doesn't accumulate over the course of the day into a different health pool.
Keep it down.
Wasn't trying to pickpocket.
Could be trouble.
Didn't know I could pickpocket a ghost. The spirit's voice warps and shifts, muted as if by a great distance. Even so, he grins brightly at you.
I can't see much of anything, really, apart from you. Just endless gray. What happened?
Well, the ship ran aground in the storm. You died.
Storm? That's strange. You'd think a man would recall a storm. It's like someone cut away a part of my memory. There's just this big black hole. It's weird. I thought death would be different. Big light and so on. But I don't see anything at all. Just you.
I don't think that Barath did charge me with guiding souls to the afterlife. She just charged me with trying to hunt down Aethys and figure out what was going on there. Nevertheless, I'm not going to say, too bad I'm leaving. That just seems rude.
Oh. Suppose that sounds nice enough. I'll follow you then, shall I?
Come along, then. The spirit falls into step behind you, radiating cheer.
Still seeing ghosts, huh? Suppose you're stuck
I'll boil
with
up
that.
some water. We'll have a spy at that leg of yours.
Should have seen me with that barrel, Angry. I showed it who's boss.
Magarin gives some of us simpler trials than others.
Yes.
At least my leg don't hurt anymore.
Happily. Not a sound.
Yeah?
Mind the boars, Watcher. I can't hold them back.
I suppose it can't be helped. As you wish.
What do you need? Could be a fight. Hey.
I'm here. Yeah, that hit true.
Hey.
Absolutely.
It is good to see you well, Watcher. I believe the boars were hoping for easy meat.
Chitupak greets you with a relieved nod and checks the pistol at his hip.
The bosun, Beedle, is in that cave over there. Ran in after a boar. Stubborn old dwarf.
So why are you out here?
I was able to calm one of the boars with a spell. For a time, at least. By the time I was through, I had lost sight of Beedle. I remained here, hoping he would return quickly. He has not.
Well, I suppose I'll go look for Beedle.
I will make for the campfire. I must get this pistol cleaned if it's going to be of any use. Be careful in there, Captain.
Indeed.
That's nothing for miles. Isn't there supposed to be a light?
Well, this seems to be a decent stopping point for Session 1. Thank you all for watching and or listening. I hope you will join me when I get to Session 2. How long is this black screen? I like to end when I get back to the menu. You okay, game? Having some struggles? There it is. Alright.